Adequate notice of the July 9th, 2020 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board and the website of the Township of Hanover, and by submitting the agenda by email along with the agenda and the notice to the Morris County Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and the Hanover Eagle, and by filing the same with the Township Clerk Business Administrator. On roll call, Mr. Cahill.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Mahalko.
Here.
Mr. Francioli.
Here.
And Mr. Faramosque.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
At this point, all rise, those who can, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand. Those continue as Mr. Gallagher reads the Township Committee prayer.
Almighty God, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and general welfare for all the people of Hanover Township. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, as we now continue with the formal agenda, first item is a letter dated June the 15th and received by me on June 17th. And it's from Ronald F. Francioli, a member of the Township Committee. It says, "Dear Joe and members of the Township Committee, may this letter inform you that effective July 1st, 2020...
Joe, I can hear you, but after that, we don't hear anything."
You're the only one talking, so that's right.
Yeah, I'm the only one talking, Fred. Fred?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only one talking. No one else is talking.
Okay, no, there was a break, Joe, that's all.
Okay. I'll start over again. I'm reading into the record a formal letter from Committeeman Francioli as follows. May this letter inform you that effective July 1st, 2020, and having served through our 2020 municipal budget, I will retire from the chairmanship of the governing body and continue serving as a member of the Hanover Township Committee for the balance of my elected office. Hereto, I resign all the statutory responsibilities associated with the chair. It is my hope that the strategy to establish a mandatory rotation of the chair includes a rotation of all members of the committee in their designated assignments for their better understanding of the workings of our municipal government. I am honored to serve our community for as many years as I have, and thank all who have supported me in that role. I encourage the Township Committee to remain on the path of keeping Hanover moving forward as one of the best managed, debt-free towns with the finest of services in the state of New Jersey. Respectfully submitted, Ronald F. Francioli, Hanover Township Committee. In keeping with the policy, may we have a motion to accept the letter of retirement from Mr. Francioli only as chairman and mayor of the Township Committee?
I'll make a motion to accept the decision of the mayor to retire from the chair.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Faramosque. We have a second
Joe,
by...
this is Fred. Krista DiGiorgio needs to unmute.
Unmute, this way.
Hit unmute on the laptop.
This is unmute, right.
Okay, we're unmuted, Fred. Fred?
Okay.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Faramosque, seconded by Mr. Gallagher, to accept the letter of stepping down as chairman and mayor of the Township of Hanover. On roll call, Mr. Cahill.
Excuse me, Joe?
Yes, sir.
This is Fred. I would ask if you could just summarize the letter because we didn't hear it.
Okay. I read into the record a letter submitted by Mr. Francioli, stepping down as the chairman of the Township Committee and mayor of the Township of Hanover in accordance with the state statute. He remains on the Township Committee for the balance of his term, which expires in 2022. There's been a motion.
Thank you, Joe, that was clear.
Thank you, Mr. Samrau, I appreciate that. On roll call, Mr. Cahill,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher,
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko,
Yes.
Mr. Francioli,
Aye.
and Mr. Faramosque.
Aye.
So approved.
Stay with it, Joe.
Not for long. Okay, we have two resolutions that we need to take action on. First is a resolution of the Township Committee appointing John L. Faramosque as chairman of the governing body and mayor of the township effective July 9th through December 31st, 2020, all in accordance with state statute at NJSA 40A:63-5. May we have a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Francioli,
Second?
second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Cahill,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher,
Yes.
Mr. Mahalko,
Yes.
Mr. Francioli,
Aye.
and Mr. Faramosque.
Yes, I accept.
So moved. Second resolution, appointing Committeeman Thomas A. Gallagher to serve as deputy mayor of the township effective July 9th through December 31st, 2020. May we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that Committeeman Gallagher takes on the role of Deputy Mayor of Hanover Township effective July 9th.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Faramosque. May we have a second by Mr. Francioli? On roll call on the position of deputy mayor and serving in that capacity, Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Cahill,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher,
Yes.
Mr. Mahalko,
Yes.
Mr. Francioli,
Aye.
and Mr. Faramosque.
Yes.
So approved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, gives me great pleasure at this time to ask Mr. Faramosque to step forward and his lovely wife, Catherine, so that I can administer the oath of office. And then we'll do Mr. Gallagher right after that. I, John L. Faramosque,
I, John L.
do
Faramosque,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of mayor for the Township of Hanover,
all the duties of the office of the mayor for the Township of Hanover,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here you go, John. Just sign on the dotted line, you're now in the United States Marine Corps. We'll ask Mr. Gallagher to step forward.
Little at a time, yeah.
Sure.
Very good, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, left hand on the Bible. I, Thomas A. Gallagher,
I, Thomas A. Gallagher,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
and that I will bear true faith
see, repeat, not read, that I will bear true
and
faith
allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United
and
States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor
all the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor
for the Township of Hanover,
for the Township of Hanover,
according to the best of my ability,
according to to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Mr.
Joe.
Gallagher.
Thank you very much.
With your family?
Thank you, Ron. Thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much. You guys are family. Do me a favor. Go, Joe. Very good.
If we started earlier.
You can see him, because you can see him smiling, which is a good thing.
Okay, Fred and members of the public, we're now going to have some comments from our newly sworn-in mayor and members of the Township Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Giorgio. I look forward to serving the Hanover community in this leadership assignment. I look forward to keeping the great tradition in Hanover of keeping it a safe, an affordable place to live, work, and play. I thank the members of the Township Committee for nominating me and supporting my appointment as chairman. I'm truly honored to serve in this capacity. I'm also very fortunate and blessed to have such a great group of extraordinary colleagues dedicated to the success of Hanover Township. As a team, we've worked together to optimize our department structure and our individual responsibilities. And at this time, I'd like to share with you the results of the committee's work in terms of restructuring the departments that we are responsible for. We'll begin with Mr. Cahill. Committeeman Cahill will continue to lead public safety, building initiatives, and regional schools. Committeeman Mahalka will expand his recreational responsibilities to include parks and fields management, open space, primary education, and substance awareness. Committeeman Gallagher will take on the role of deputy mayor. Mr. Gallagher will be the director of planning and engineering, HSA, and EDAC, along with lead the subcommittee for school safety, traffic, and parks. While Mayor Francioli will assume a committee directorship for public works, water management, community farm, and what the committee calls quality of life initiatives, working with many groups in our township to include our seniors. This plan will be made available and posted in greater detail on the township website. At this time, I'd like to make a quick personal note. I would like to thank my family for being here tonight, for their continued support, and especially my wife Kathy, who's celebrating her birthday with us tonight. And I highly recommend that you get going to her birthday dinner real soon before your reservation gets pulled. On behalf of the Township Committee, though, the municipal staff, the numerous boards, leaders who have contacted me, I'd like to make some commentary about Mayor Ron Francioli. I would like to thank on behalf of this group of people and commend Mayor Ron for his leadership, his extraordinary service, and commitment to the people of Hanover Township. Mayor Francioli has served our community with distinction for the past 40 years, 20 of which when he was in the leadership role as chairman of this committee. Mayor Ron, or the lightning rod as we affectionately call him, has helped make Hanover into one of the best towns in the county and arguably the best municipality in the state of New Jersey. Mayor Ron is a true fiscal conservative, and his policies are true to his roots, which go back to the days when he assumed the seat of the great assemblyman, Art Albon. Let's take a minute to reflect upon just some of his highlights, which, quite frankly, we'd be here all night. So I'm going to hit on the high ones, Mayor Ron. Mayor Ron has helped keep Hanover debt-free. That is quite an accomplishment, especially in this country, the way in which debt is considered just charging. There's real cost to just charging it. We don't have that debt-free obligation. That's very, very important, and it's a great credit to his leadership. This has enabled us to keep Hanover an affordable place to live while providing us with a wide range of fine municipal services. Mayor Ron has been an integral part of our planning process and economic development advancement initiatives, which have helped attract and recruit some of what we call here the bluest of the blue chips of Fortune 100 companies residing in Hanover Township. That comes through perseverance and great strategic work. Mayor Ron has been and continues to be a friend of our environment. For those of you who may have forgotten, he started in the early days fighting with CCA. And for those of you who've forgotten, Container Corporation of America, they wanted to radically change Hanover Township. They wanted to reopen the operation of a paper mill in the center of our town. Think of what would have happened if that took place. As a member of the Township Committee, he has consistently supported the strategic acquisition of hundreds of acres of open space, to include the most recent purchase from the state of New Jersey of 65 acres known as the old Route 24 tract. Mayor Ron is also a compassionate leader and has championed group homes in Hanover Township, which we are all very proud to host these individuals living in our community. He has also fought to support prioritization of affordable housing for our first responders, and he's brought that to the state, that initiative. Mayor Ron is well respected throughout the county, throughout the state, and is a member of the Mayor's Hall of Fame. Our Township Committee would also like to especially thank Mayor Francioli for the diligent work serving during the past 6-month period, which has been very, very arduous. He worked diligently to help lead the development of a responsible, debt-free budget during this tough period. And he served untiringly, serving you with all the municipal leaders, staff, county departments to keep Hanover a safe place during this COVID-19 crisis. We are grateful to have him in the leadership role that he has provided us, and we truly look forward to his contributions, which we are sure there will be many, as the new director of DPW and Quality of Life and chief mentor to the Township Committee. We thank you. At this time, I would like to invite members of the Township Committee to provide their thoughts.
John would be happy to go next.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Gallagher.
I'm in a slightly different
You guys
position.
aren't going to carry this on, are you?
Just another hour. Just, yeah. Well, John's reservation is what time, John? I just want to say I'm in a different position than the rest of my governing body because I did not grow up in Hanover Township. The great things that John just discussed and listed are what attracted me and my family to Hanover Township. Great services, safe streets, great schools, low taxes. So this body of work is what attracted me, sometimes a real thorn in the side, to want to raise my family here, move here, and be part of this community. So Ron, I know what you've given. I really appreciate it personally. Hanover appreciates it. 40 years is a very, very long time. You missed a lot of dinners, and we're just very happy you did what you did. And I just want to say thank you, and I'm glad you're sticking around, and you're going to be very busy. So thank you, Ron. God bless you and your family. Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you very, very much. If I may. So Ron, one of the
when Mike and I first came on, one of the bits of advice that you gave us was, don't read, just speak. Just speak your mind. So I haven't broken the habit of reading, but I'm going to now. First of all, thank you. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for guiding us and being that source of information. My goodness, 40 years and 20 years as chair. I mean, between you and Joe Giorgio, there's not a thing that you do not know about this town and cannot help us and guide us with. So obviously, we here on the committee are very, very grateful, and we'll continue to lean on you as much as you'll allow moving forward as you complete your term. I also just wanted to mention, you know that we appreciate you, and we appreciate the work and what you've done for us. And you also know that I don't spend a lot of time on social media. But I did follow Facebook when you made your announcement, and rest knowing that this community, the overwhelming majority of this community, appreciates you and loves you and respects you for everything that you've done for this town. So I think that is more important than even what this committee thinks, really, honestly. Just always know that. It's very important that you recognize that the majority of people really do appreciate everything you've done. So thank you. And I really look forward to the future. It's going to be great, so thank you.
Brian, thank you for those very, very kind remarks.
One more.
One more.
Yeah, just because I'm on Joey base here. Ron, I want to thank you so much. Mentor was a really good word that Brian had used. Being the new guys coming on, just watching the poise and professionalism that you did in that position has taught me so much. And we talk about the bullseye. You got a big bullseye on your back many a night, and you've handled it amazingly. And John, I know you'll do exactly the same. Two very good men that are doing a great job. I really just want to, again, thank you. I'm glad you're sticking around even longer. We will learn even more from you. So,
Michael, thank you for those remarks. Thank you so much, really. I don't know what to say.
Well, we're not ready yet. We have one more individual that wants to make some comments.
Go on, just pass it down.
Pass the baton.
So, Ron and I started off together, January 1st, 1982.
Yep.
Which will mark 39 years. It's a long time, and we've worked hand in glove for all those years, and we both gave each other advice and guidance, and we worked as a team, and that's the whole purpose of municipal government, to have a team approach. And you've got to start it with the chief executive being Ron and the members of the governing body.
We've lost communication again.
Only you, Joe.
That's only me.
You hit the button by accident, thanks. One more time?
Just click on it.
I just want to say 1982, I was still in 8th grade. just so off.
So in 1982, Ron and I started off together, and we worked on many problems and many issues.
We did.
And it came as a big surprise when I received your letter on the 17th of June, but I could understand because we've commiserated with each other, and it's not an easy position to be in. Whether you're in a big urban municipality or a smaller jurisdiction such as Hanover Township, you're always subject to criticism. There's always someone who feels that they have greater knowledge than you, even though they may not be sitting in your seat, and like to criticize and make you feel maybe like this, that you really don't know what you're doing. But you did all these years, 39 years, knew every step of the way what had to be done to lead the township committee. And I, for one, respect you for that, I love you for that, and certainly I'm glad you're staying on the township committee for the balance of your term, and we will continue to work together. So God bless you and Carol and the family.
Joe, I'll tell you, gentlemen, I'm taken back. These were the nicest comments. You know, there's a friend of mine said to me, there's never a good time, but there's always the right time. And this is the right time. It is the right time for Hanover to move on. It's the right time for Hanover to take on new leadership. And it's the right time for Hanover to move forward in the way it always has, in the conservative way it always has. John, you're going to do an absolutely phenomenal job. There's no question about it in my mind. We've worked very, very close together, as I have with the rest of the team and many, many other committees. You've served on other committees. You're groomed for this spot. It's seamless. You'll step into this very, very well, and you'll bring us forward, and I'm very, very comforted by that in relieving the chair. I knew the moment had to come when I would step down. What started out as an avocation over time becomes a vocation. And when that begins to happen, it's time to be cut off, as this just did. What I'd like to say is I was really taken back, Brian, by all the comments that I did see on Facebook. There are so many of our friends and good neighbors out there, for all of us, that we don't hear from. We make decisions, we sit here, we do our very, very best, and we do that for the pride of our town. We're not doing it for personal gain or anything like that. There's nobody that sits here as, looking for some other agenda other than to do the very best they possibly can do. So I was somewhat overwhelmed by what I did see on that, and I'm very, very proud of that. On that note, I wish Deputy Mayor Gallagher the best as he steps into big shoes. You're going to fill Deputy Mayor Faramosque's old shoes, and it'll be a learning experience for you and for the Township Committee. I think it's good, I think it's timely, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind about Mayor Faramosque's ability to carry on in the best form for Hanover Township. Thank you, John. Thank you all. Appreciate it very, very much.
Johnny, you're late for a reservation. Mom's birthday is Mom's birthday, and you better celebrate it since I'll join you guys for dessert.
We'll save you some dessert. Thank you for everything. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
John, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations,
Happy
guys.
birthday again, Kathy.
Thank you for your help. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, Freddie, you still connected there? Can you hear us?
Barely.
No, yes, but it's in and out. The best we heard was when Mayor Faramosque spoke. That was the clearest, and then it went in and out again.
Okay, we'll try to up the volume. I'll try to speak louder.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, and we apologize to the public. We did not expect that. The first problem we had was the dial-in number was not working because we lost long-distance connection, and Mr. Esposito is trying to get that resolved. He's been on the phone with AT&T all day, and so we've had a problem with that, and then unfortunately with the Zoom, so we'll do our best as we proceed. Ladies and gentlemen.
Right now, Joe, very clear when you're speaking, very clear when you speak.
Okay, thank you very much, Fred. As we continue, ladies and gentlemen, we have the approval of the last regular public meeting of the Township Committee, which took place on Thursday, June 11th. So may we have a motion on the acceptance of those minutes? Motion by Mr. Faramosque, seconded by Mr. Mahalko. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, although we are a few weeks late, it is still an honor on behalf of the Township Committee to present Fern Walken with a proclamation proclaiming June 2020 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Hanover Township. So Fern, you want to step forward? And we want, on behalf of the Township Committee, want to present you with this resolution, albeit it is a little late, but we'll get it right next year.
Okay, can I say a few words? I know that Charlie can't hear.
Sure. We don't have the microphone
It's
because of the
just-
social
it's just for you
distancing and
guys.
everything.
It's fine. So first order of business for new administration, so Mayor Francioli and Mayor Faramosque and the Township Committee, I thank you for presenting me with a pride proclamation for the township. I think that much of society has moved recently after many years to acceptance of our LGBTQ plus community members. There are LGBTQ plus people in every community, and they are deserving of our recognition and care, as is every other member of our society. Recognizing pride is a step in the direction of accepting that everyone is deserving of a safe and welcoming community for all individuals who identify as LGBTQ+. With that, if you don't mind, sure, if you don't mind, I just want to introduce Lori Litt. Lori is the CEO of Edge Pride Center of New Jersey. And I just want her to tell you a little bit about the center so that you can understand how we as a community can use the center as a resource for our LGBTQ citizens.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you again for the proclamation of June as Pride Month in Hanover Township. I know that Morris County also had the same proclamation, and we're hoping to get every community in our county next year to make the same proclamation. The Edge Pride Center is part of Edge New Jersey, which also provides services to the HIV community. But our Pride Center opened in January of last year to address a need of the community that didn't exist. There were no services specific to the LGBTQ population in Morris County, Sussex County, Warren County, or many of the surrounding areas, so that our people, our LGBT youth and parents had no resources. So the first thing we did was we started a parent support group for parents whose youth had come out as LGBT and needed resources. Then we started a youth support group so that the kids had a place to go to feel accepted and to have support that they weren't getting in other places. We've expanded to have other support groups. We are actually purchasing a new building, so we will be located in Denville, hopefully by 2021. We just got approval from the town there to make the variance or the stuff. I don't know, I'm a social worker, that's what we need to our lawyers and other people to help us with, but we're very excited to expand our programs and to provide services that are desperately needed to the LGBT community that hasn't always been accepted wherever they go. So we're hoping to provide more safe space. And I would love to donate a pride flag to the town if there's some place that you would hang it, if you would like that. Basically, it's the rainbow flag that lets people know that this is a safe, accepting community. So I would love to be able to donate one to the town if you all would accept that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate this. And Joe, I know that you're instrumental in this, so thank you very much.
You're quite welcome, Fern. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we continue with the agenda. We have the continuation of the public hearing and adoption of ordinance number 17-2020. This concerns the proposed Pine Plaza redevelopment plan. So at this time, I would ask for a motion to continue the public hearing on the Pine Plaza redevelopment plan.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Gallagher, seconded by Mr. Cahill. This is on the continuation of the public hearing. Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Francioli.
Stay.
Mr. Francioli abstains, recuses himself, and Mr. Faramosque. Okay, is there anyone either via Zoom or in the public meeting here wishing to comment, make any comments concerning ordinance number 17-2020? Ms. Baird, do you want to step forward? We have Terry Baird is stepping forward first.
Okay, and then I'm gonna ask Joe for an opportunity. I'll try to unmute the public at the same time online.
That's fine, thank you. Terry, would you mind stepping up again, we don't have the microphone because of the COVID-19 and we don't want to spread any germs. Yes, sure.
Okay. Hi, Terry Baird, 180 Parsippany Road, New Whitney section of Hanover. Use my outdoor voice. The only thing is, I would like either the committee or I see Mr. Phillips is online. If he could explain, because I don't think that the general public...
Mr. Giorgio, will you be able to just summarize the points made by the public? Because we don't hear her.
Yes, what we're gonna do is bring the laptop over close to Terry Baird, so that way...
Okay,
Place it on the chair, so
We'll place it on the chair, and that way Terry can... Thank you, Terry.
Outdoor voice again. Can you hear me now, Fred? Fred? Can you hear me?
Fred, can you hear Terry?
No, he went.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, Terry's gonna comment right now, Fred.
It's Terry Baird, 180.
Yes, good evening.
Hi. The reason why I'm getting up in reference to his ordinance is because I don't believe that the general public of the town understand what a redevelopment plan is, what it does to zoning, and then what would happen later during a planning board meeting or when it goes to site plan. And I was wondering if Mr. Phillips could explain that, because he's the one who wrote the redevelopment plan.
Okay, you faded out a little bit, so I just want to make sure for the benefit of everyone, you're asking if he could summarize just what this development is, what it's, or what the impact is of the development, the rezoning. Is that a fair statement?
No.
Okay.
It's more like what is a redevelopment plan, what it does to zoning for that particular piece of property, and therefore later on when this development plan goes to the planning board, that then it follows suit. So whatever happens for the redevelopment plan puts the zoning into place, and then when it goes to planning board, there's really no going back. It is what it is.
Okay, Paul, did you hear most of that?
Unfortunately, Fred, I did not. The speaker just kept coming in and out.
It sounds like, and I'll try again to summarize, because everyone can hear Paul and I, well, the public can hear, that you're saying, just to explain what basically this changes are of the zoning and how this relates to the whole process. That it'll still go to the planning board for public hearing and site plan. Is that what you'd like Paul to talk about?
Yes.
Okay. Paul?
So what's before the governing body this evening is the adoption of a redevelopment plan. And the redevelopment plan is much like a underlying zoning ordinance or zoning amendment. Except it has an enhanced level of standards which are permissible under the state's local redevelopment and housing law. What happens is if this plan gets adopted, essentially it would supersede the underlying zoning for the property. It would in effect become the new zoning for the property. And then a developer would basically have to put together a site plan and submit that site plan consistent with the requirements of the redevelopment plan, and then would apply for a site plan approval before the planning board. And then the planning board would hear that particular application as part of a public hearing, and the developer would make the presentation, the board would hear it, and the board would also take public comment, much like any other site plan application that goes to the planning board in Hanover Township.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, Fred, is there anyone else wishing to be heard?
Fred, is there anyone else who needs to be heard?
I'm just going to open it up to the public here and see if there's anyone who can give me one moment, because we didn't want to have to...
Christie, you have Purell, a bottle of Purell.
Fred, are you on?
Okay, I am. I'm just asking now, is anyone who's a member of the public, what the mayor's saying, wishes to speak with respect to this ordinance, which is relating to the redevelopment plan for the Pine Plaza, it's known as the Pine Plaza Shopping Center. And if anybody in the public could just confirm that they could be heard, that you hear me, and if you could just speak and just confirm for the benefit of the mayor and township committee that you hear us and we can hear you. So is there anyone? I can hear you. Okay, thank you. It's just...
Okay.
Fred, anyone going to step up to speak?
Joe, if I could just have one more moment as we're trying to do that.
Sure, not a problem, Fred.
Thank you.
Unreal.
Yes, technology's great.
Maybe it's because of all the lines in the town hall. No, this is Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi.
Just making sure.
This is horrifying.
Everyday life.
Okay, again, if anyone wishes to speak on this ordinance, again, if just anyone else could confirm that they do not, it would just help me to make sure that everyone hears me and I hear them. I heard, I think, one member of the public say that.
I do not, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mayor, we've opened it to the public, and we've opened it to the public on Zoom, and I think that's the end of the public comments, which is important, because this is a significant ordinance. We don't want to have to go back and do it again. We've made a record that we've had 2 public hearings.
Thank you for enabling the members of the public have an opportunity to voice their thinking on this ordinance, and we thank the members of the public for contributing their questions throughout the period of time for this ordinance.
Okay, hearing no further comment from members of the public, I'm going to ask members of the governing body for a motion to close on the public hearing concerning ordinance number 17-2020. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee adopting a redevelopment plan pursuant to NJSA 48:12A-7 for property located on Route 10 and Mount Pleasant Avenue, and also designated as Block 4001, Lot 6-7, a portion of 9, Lots 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, and Block 8803, Lot 17, all as set forth on the tax map of the Township of Hanover. So, and
You said lots 6 and 7?
yes, lots 6 and 7. I'm sorry.
That's Nico's.
Yep. You know what, Terry? It didn't change. Let me read that over.
I'm sorry.
No, so I'm glad you did, Terry, because on my readable to do it, we didn't change it on that. So we'll go back. It's an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover adopting a redevelopment plan pursuant to NJSA 48:12A-7 for property located on Route 10 and Mount Pleasant Avenue, and also designated now with the correct lot and block numbers, Block 4001, a portion of 9, Lots 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, and Block 8803, Lot 17, all as set forth on the tax map of the Township of Hanover. Thank you for that correction, Terry. So now, may we have a motion to close on the public hearing.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Cahill,
Second?
second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Francioli, you're recusing yourself.
Recused?
And Mr. Faramosque.
Aye.
Now on adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover adopting a redevelopment plan pursuant to NJSA 40A:12A-7 for property located on Route 10 and Mount Pleasant Avenue, and also designated as Block 4001, a portion of Lot 9, Lots 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, and Block 8803, Lot 17, all as set forth on the tax map of the Township of Hanover, be adopted at this time, and that a notice of the final adoption of the ordinance be published in the July 15th issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved?
So moved by Mr. Gallagher.
Second.
Second by Mr. Faramosque. On roll call.
Mr. Giorgio, before the vote, may I just say, may I have Mr. Phillips just make a statement with respect to this redevelopment plan? And I would just ask Mr. Phillips if he could just give a short summary as to the fact that this is a village type of concept that was discussed and negotiated as part of our affordable housing plan, and what that vision is with respect to Pine Plaza based on this redevelopment ordinance, and if it's consistent with the Township Committee and what was discussed with the developer in accordance with the settlement that was reached in our affordable housing plan. If it would be okay, if you could just give a short summary to put on the record.
Sure. The short answer to your question, Fred, is yes. This redevelopment plan basically is in furtherance of a settlement agreement that was entered into by the township with JMF, and it calls for a mixed-use development of residential with an affordable housing set-aside and commercial. And the plan was the result of significant discussions between representatives of the township and the developer. And the plan essentially calls for an integrated development between the commercial and residential with a complementary relationship with walkability and connections, and with the type of commercial development that is set forth and envisioned in the plan is development that would be compatible with the introduction now of residential along the Route 10 corridor.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips, and for the record, Mr. Phillips is the special planner hired by the township, not by the developer, but by the township, to put together this redevelopment plan. And Mr. Phillips, you're of the opinion that what was discussed and negotiated, this redevelopment plan gives the opportunity for the owner of the Pine Plaza Shopping Center and the properties that were identified to have that opportunity to develop the site in accordance with the township settlement agreement.
Yeah, I think, Fred, that would be an accurate characterization, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Thank you, Mr. Giorgio.
Fred, at this time, this is John Faramosque. I want to be the voice of the planning board, who has worked diligently on this for a great period of time, along with the subcommittee of the Township Committee and the Township Committee, that from a planning standpoint, we believe that this ordinance helps satisfy the requirements of affordable housing, and it advances this village mixed-use concept, advances good planning in an area of our town in a strategic fashion. And so as a result of this, I believe there's a win-win. There's a win for affordable housing, and this mixed village use concept provides a win for the people of Hanover Township.
Thank you, Mayor.
John, there's one comment I'd like to make too. Fred, I would just like to also say, in addition to what John said, that we did, I got it. We spent quite a bit of time creating what we unofficially called a jewel in the center of Hanover Township. We talked specifically about having a place to go with our families to have ice cream, go out to dinner, do some shopping, have some of our seniors maybe live there in an affordable complex very close to this mixed use. So I want to thank the Township Committee. I want to thank John and all you guys for all the work we did on the subcommittee. But unofficially, we call this a jewel. And moving forward with this plan, it's very, very close to being the jewel that we visualized and worked on for 18 months to 2 years. So great work, guys. Thank you very much. And hopefully tonight's a big step in moving forward in the creation of this jewel.
Well said. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had a motion and a second for adoption. So at this time, on adoption for ordinance 17-2020, Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Francioli is going to abstain and recuse himself, and Mr. Faramosque.
Aye.
Okay, that's passed with 4 yeas and 1 recusal, abstention on ordinance 17-2020. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, with introduction of 2 ordinances, which are docketed as ordinance 20 and 21. The first deals with the installation of a new alternator assembly for the police department's emergency generator, which has failed, and we need to appropriate the sum of $50,000. All of that money may not be used. It depends on the final bill, and we would be taking that money from the unallocated portion of the capital improvement fund, and we have sufficient funds in order to pay for this repair. The second ordinance, 21-2020, has to do with the proposed development on Route 10 eastbound, which has been designated as the 1515 Route 10 project. And for those who've been attending planning board meetings, you know the planning board has been pursuing a redevelopment plan for that property, that portion of the property which rests in Hanover Township. So that is ordinance number 21-2020. With your permission, Mayor, did you want to make any comment about that, Blaze, on 21?
Just.
Yeah, maybe just step up here. Just for the record, so that
He'll take it. No, don't
maybe
look.
just stay right there.
Just to briefly summarize, this is mostly an area that's already a redevelopment area. Last year, the Township of Hanover and the Township of Parsippany, Troy Hills, adjusted their boundaries. And because of that, we had to redesignate and re-adopt a plan for the portion of the area that was formerly in Parsippany but is now in Hanover. So that's really the prime movement in this. In addition, the plan has some minor amendments due to the reconfiguration of the property. But the main impetus behind this action is the moving of the 2 boundaries and having to redo what we've already done, but just to reflect different boundaries.
Thank you, Blaze. Appreciate that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to take ordinance 20 and 21 as a consent agenda. Both ordinances and their notices of introduction, respective notices, will appear in full in the July 15th issue of the Daily Record. And the ordinances are currently slated for adoption on the 13th of August, and the time for that meeting will probably be 6:15 p.m. That's not confirmed yet, but it's probably going to be 6:15 p.m. on the 13th of August. So with regard to the introduction of both those ordinances, may we have a motion for introduction?
So
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Francioli.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mahalko. On roll call for introduction, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
And Mr. Faramosque.
Aye.
We're on introduction. Now, item number 13 are the resolutions as a consent agenda, which are resolutions A through P. Does any member of the Township Committee have a question about any of the resolutions?
Just like to welcome Colin Fitzgerald,
Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons aboard as part of our DBW team. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, may we have a motion to approve the resolutions as a consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Gallagher.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Francioli. On roll call, Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
And Mr. Faramosque.
Aye.
So approved. Ladies and gentlemen, on the back page, last page, we have the payment of bills, $5,970,053.12. May we have a motion for approval on the
Move to
payment?
pay the bills.
We have a motion by Mr. Faramosque.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yep.
Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
And Mr. Faramosque. So approved. We pay our bills. Silvio and I are protected. We don't go see the sheriff. Okay, gotta have a little levity. Raffle application, 3291 Employment Horizons of 50/50 on premise. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Raffle application is approved. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we reopen the meeting to the public for any item on the agenda or off the agenda.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second? Second by Mr. Francioli. All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now reopened to the public. Fred, do we have any members of the public who wish to address the governing body? Fred, I cannot hear you.
Joe, I'm asking the public right now.
Okay, thank you, Fred.
Okay, see? Okay?
3848 Washington Ave, Whippany.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Congratulations to John and Ace, and thank you to Ron for all your dedication and years of service. Maintaining a debt-free town is surely no easy feat, and again, should be proud of the accomplishments of why so many people have wanted to move to town. Getting that out of the way. Being in the middle of a pandemic, big hot topic, I know this is not the Board of Ed meeting, but reopening of schools. We even have our president talking about it, that schools need to reopen. Just about every organization has an opinion on it, from the American Pediatric Association all the way down to teacher unions. One of the challenges from what I'm hearing from different parties is the ability to pay for some of the requirements. I know we've submitted budget well beyond that point. Curious what funds could be made available for our schools to help ensure they are able to open full-time every day for the full day. The educational experience, especially at a younger level, my daughter's going in the first grade. At that age, it's not appropriate to have distance learning. And one positive correlation that it's shown is a school's rank typically leads to higher property values. So for the residents, not just those that send their kids to school, helping ensure that our education system in town operates at a high level, and potentially even have an opportunity here to surpass other towns that might not be able to fully open come September. What funds could potentially be made available for our school district to help ensure that we open full-time every day for the full day. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Eman, I believe you pose a very important question. I don't think we have an answer this evening for that. I trust that Committeeman Cahill and Committeeman Mahalko will be working closely with our schools to be involved in that. And if the schools need assistance from this municipality to apply for grants or to pursue money from that of the county and or the state, I believe we will be in a position to support that. But I really can't give you a definitive answer at this point. If Mr. Cahill or Mr. Mahalko have any commentary that they want to share with us, please feel free.
So, Mr. Eman. All right, Mr. Eman, I would, there's a lot of stuff going on right now as far as whether we're going to be able to go to full-time or what that is going to look like. And of course, as you're aware, just by watching the news, it's a very fluid situation. But for now, what I would do is invite you to do a search on the internet for a New Jersey Department of Education document. It's called The Road Back. It's about a 103-page document. It's downloadable. It's open. It's for the public, but it's very, very. It's full of detail and recommendations, and it's got 4 major components or sections within it. One is conditions for learning. The other one is leadership and planning. Third, and to your point, is policy and funding, and then continuity and learning, which you also brought up a very good point. That document contains a lot of guidance. It doesn't mean that a particular school district is going to follow each of those guidances to the letter, but it does contain a lot of information that might help you when you approach the board as far as what their approach is going to be moving forward.
Actually read all 90 pages of it. Pages 91 to 104 are appendix of just reference material. Within it, I think on page 80 or 80, 81, 82, talks about programs from FEMA that would cover 75% of PPE expenses, including cleaning, provided it's a last resort from a FEMA perspective before you can apply. But my question in general is there an opportunity from a municipal budget to reallocate additional funds to the school districts to help cover some of that gap, maybe that 25% that may be needed that wouldn't be covered by the FEMA program, and FEMA would cover the other 75%. So I'm actually familiar with the entire document, read the full document.
Somehow I'm not surprised. I would say, so all I can tell you is...
I don't comment on something unless I'm pretty well versed in it, so I've done my homework.
No, of course not. I would only say that, again, we're in early stages of planning. The Board of Ed is, I shouldn't say we. We are working with them, of course. We're there to support, just like everybody else. But as far as identifying where we might be able to help with funding, I think we'd first have to understand what the gaps actually are, and that has not been identified, or we haven't been approached with that at this point in time. I can tell you there are ongoing meetings. There is a committee of some parents, school leadership administrators, PTA leaders that are meeting once a week, and we actually just had the kickoff meeting a couple of days ago, where we kind of just did a highlight on the report that you've already read, and that is the start to where we start identifying where there may or may not be some gaps and how we're going to approach this next school year.
Okay. I appreciate that. If there's any way I can help, any way possible to help ensure the schools reopen full-time every day, all day, you let me know. Whether it's time or money, I'm willing to help contribute to the cause.
We thank you for your offer.
Anyone else, Fred, wishing to address the Township Committee?
I do not believe so, Joe. I don't see anyone else that's asked, but I'll say here, is there anyone else who is a member of the public who would like to be heard? Now's the time.
Terry?
There's no one else, Joe.
No,
Thank you.
We have a member of the public who is at the meeting that would like to be heard.
I'll be loud, you don't need it. You can reiterate it. I just want to have clarification on the resolutions as a consent agenda on D, accepting the bid for the sale of certain property. If you could explain that, that would be great, and what the next steps are for that.
Okay, Fred, the question from Terry is item D, which is the acceptance of the bid from Mr. Forgione for the sale of the right-of-way of Mount Pleasant Avenue, and that was on the public auction we held on June the 9th. And I guess Terry is asking the status, and where do we go from here? Correct, Terry?
We put together a contract that was consistent with the bid, and there's the purchaser's attorney wanted changes. The changes were not consistent with the way the project was bid, the property was bid, and so tonight when we approve this, we're going to do what we're supposed to do, and that's acceptance of the bid, but it's going to be conditioned. My recommendation is that the committee condition upon that contract being signed by July 14th. So that's the way that it works. We put this out. Someone came forward with a non-refundable deposit, and it's subject to a contract. We're going to adopt the contract tonight, but if it's not signed and returned, then we're going to seek to put it back out for bid.
Thank you, Fred. Is that
Thank you very much.
answers your question? Thank you, Terry. Fred, no other members of the public wishing to address the governing body at this time?
No, Joe.
Okay. Thank you, Fred. Then at this point, may we have a motion to close the meeting to the public? We have a motion by Mr. Faramosque. Seconded by Mr. Francioli. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Fred, we now come to that portion of the meeting where the governing body asks you to provide the public with an update on where we stand with regard to affordable housing.
Thank you, Mr. Giorgio, and Mayor and Township Committee. We continue by taking steps tonight to comply with the terms of our third round plan, and we also have our planners working on the amendments to the Airport Road and the River Park site, and that was again in exchange for both the two Parsippany Road sites to be eliminated from the plan. So that would be our last step, and then we would be in court to hopefully get a completed. We have already an opinion from the court that it would be fair. Now we would demonstrate that we've complied. So that's where we're going. And if I can just say, Mr. Giorgio, that and members of the public, I sincerely apologize for some of the technical difficulties. The plan had sort of aligned tonight as we tried to go on Zoom. The local long distance issue that came up, but we've made it through, and for the benefit of the public, and I even know that some of the mayor's family had been on, that we do have this videotape, correct, Joe, tonight?
That is correct, Fred. I just hope, just a little editorial comment, because of these unforeseeable technical problems. I see that both Jim Lent and Bill Westhoven are reporters from the Hanover Eagle and Daily Record are with us tonight. So I just hope that they report in a positive fashion that despite the overwhelming odds, we did succeed in doing the whole meeting tonight.
Right, and we did have the public hearings, and as you mentioned, there's a videotape. Mr. Giorgio takes copious minutes along with Krista, And one of the reporters asked for a description of Mayor Faramosque, and I hope I can at least get this on the screen.
Oh, my God.
That was,
We see it.
That was the,
We see
okay.
it. And our videographer is doing a good job making sure that this whole meeting is recorded properly.
So there were 4 people in the room? No, that was just Mr. Faramosque's family.
Okay, so everyone was remote.
No, there was a few members of the public subject to social distancing limitations.
In council chambers?
Yes.
That's correct, Bill.
Yes, just a few.
All right, so this was an actual open public meeting,
That's correct.
Yes.
We posted...
limited space.
That's correct. We
That's
posted
correct.
legal notices in the Daily Record and the Star Ledger so that we made it available for a minimum of only 8 members of the public could attend because of the seating capacity based on the governor's executive order. And we did have members of the public present.
Okay, thank you for indulging me, Mayor Faramosque. Just one more question. How do you spell your wife's name?
Kathy. Kathy with the C, C-A-T-H-Y.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill, you have to remember, it was Kathy's birthday tonight, too.
And if I could just say, Mr. Giorgio, as I conclude my report, as we continue along with affordable housing, also just congratulations to Mayor Faramosque, Deputy Mayor Gallagher, and as I've always said, with respect to now Ron Francioli, former Mayor Francioli, that it's one thing to get elected amongst your peers, and then it's another thing to, amongst your colleagues, to get elected mayor time and time again. That speaks for itself. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
Fred, Ron is nodding yes, so thank you for that comment. Ron appreciates it. All right, I've been informed by Mayor Faramosque that there will be no further comments from the members of the Township Committee this evening, so we will now proceed to adjournment.
Yes, prior to our adjournment, a special thanks to our business administrator, Mr. Giorgio, and to Krista for diligently working to address, on the fly, technical challenges which were not easy. So we compliment them and we thank them for the extra effort that went on this evening.
Thank you.
And at this point, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Cahill, second by Mr.
Aye.
Francioli.
Thank you, everybody.
Meeting is adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Well, that was fun.
Wasn't that a blast? I'm going to go have dessert.
Where are you going, John?
Yeah, put that out.
Are you? Oh, my God.
Moving outside.
Be welcome.